The search feature that we just built doesn't take advantage of the structure of our example database. In this movie, we're going to build another simple search feature that allows the user to search by the genre of music that they're looking for, rather than by the name of the shop. First of all, let's save our scripts. Search by genre.html, so we're saving copies of both of these, and results by genre.php. Now, what we're going to have to change here is, first of all, we're going to change the PHP script that the form is going to call, and then we're going to have a different instruction for the user. In this case, and then we're going to have to change this field. Now, we could simply, theoretically, change name to genre and run a search like that. However, there are two reasons why this is a bad idea. One is that if we're going to search by name of a musical genre, then the user is very likely to spell a genre in a way that we don't expect them to, or use a different kind of word or term for the musical genre than the one that we've stored on the database, and so we'll get no good results from that kind of a search. Another reason, if we take a look at our MySQL database, we'll have a look from the MySQL prompt. We're going to use the Vinyl Dealers database and have a look at the genres table. We can see that a number, a unique ID number, is stored beside each genre and the name. And if we take a look at the shop genres table, where the relationship between the genres and the shops is stored, we'll see that it's all stored purely as numeric data. This is to avoid precisely the kind of confusion that I just referred to with different spellings of genres or different names for essentially the same thing or overlapping categories. We can avoid all that kind of thing by storing the data numerically. Now, the implications for our HTML page is that we don't want text data of any kind. We want numeric data. We're going to have to achieve that by an option field, I beg your pardon, a select field, rather than a simple input field. So it's going to be genre is going to be the variable that is going to be outputted to the results by genre.php script. And then we're going to have a number of different options that the user can select. And each of these options is going to output a numeric value to our PHP script. The user is going to see the text, which is what they will need to be able to make their choice. Let's indent those options for clarity and close the select tag. That's about it that we need to change on our search by genre.html. Let's take a look at our results by genre.php script, and we'll need to change quite a lot here. To start with, the hyperlink that will take the user back to the search page needs to be changed to reflect the different kind of search they're doing, so that they get sent to the right page. We won't need to trim any white space from the data, because it's numeric data that's coming through and in a format that we've specified. We're also going to have to change the instances of the genre name variable to the genre variable. And then the next thing that we're going to change is our query. We're not interested in the name of the shop, so we can take this out, and we're going to replace that with a slightly different syntax. It's not just the shops table we're concerned with, it's the shops table in relation to the shop genres table. So we'll use an inner join there on shop ID equals shop genres shop ID. That will assure the SQL string that it's dealing with the right entries in the shop genres table. And finally, crucial phrase here is where the genre ID is associated with that particular record shop, the genre that the user has requested is included within the shop genres table. Now that's all we need to test out our new search feature. So let's go to our browser and do just that. Try search by genre.html, and as we can see, we've got 3 choices there, and the PHP script returns a number of record shops to us. Now this is not every record within the database. This is only the records that are flagged as being associated with the genre that we specified, in this case techno. I've left out a line break in the script, which is why there is the search button is right up next to the select field, but that doesn't make any functional difference. Now there is a problem with our search by genre.html file. Say if we want to add a genre at a later date, add a new kind of genre to the database that we hadn't thought of before, we're going to have a problem, because we're going to have to not only update the database, but update this HTML page. Furthermore, it doesn't really make sense for me to copy manually 16 different options from the database when, given that this is a dynamic site that we're trying to create, we should be able to pull that data from the database and use it to create the page. And that's exactly what we'll do. Instead of using this rather clunky arrangement, we're going to use some PHP. Now it's very important that we change the name of our HTML page so that it will be interpreted as PHP. So our search by genre.php page, we should just pop over here quickly while we've made that change and change the hyperlink there to reflect that. Now the PHP that we're going to use is much more simple than the PHP in results by genre. All we're going to do is connect to the database using the same methods as we've used in previous scripts, and we're going to select the database, vinyl dealers, and run a query which simply selects every genre that's listed in our database. and we're going to use a while loop to run through each of the rows in our result, and this is the part that's going to output to the HTML page and set up the select field. I'm going to use single quote to surround the option value, and we're going to use a double quote to break out of the string, the concatenation symbol, and the associative array record that we just defined in the previous line. We're going to pull genre ID from it. We need a concatenation symbol, double quote, single quote. The single quotes are to surround the option value, and we're going to close that tag, another double quote, and we'll need the name so that the user can see something to make the choice by. Now that may look a little confusing, quite a few symbols in there. Let's just save it, and we'll take a look at what it actually does in the browser. Now it's search by genre.php we want this time, and if we drop down the menu, we can see we have all these different options to choose from. So we're going to search for US Garage, and we get 2 results from our results by genre.php script. Now if we look at the source of this search by genre page, we can see that each of the options has been output in exactly the same way as they were on our static HTML page. So from this example, we can see that we can use PHP on both sides to make our search facility more flexible and self-updating every time we update the database.